philosophical explorations, spiritual revelations, and beyond. We are here to challenge the status quo, dive into the profound realms of non duality, Sufism, Vedanta, and much, much more. This is an interactive journey where your questions take center stage and there's no topic too taboo. Before we start, let's go over a few guidelines for today's session. This is an interactive session, so share your thoughts, questions, and comments in the chat. Let's maintain a respectful and open dialogue, even if our opinions differ. We'll answer the questions you've sent in one by one, so stay tuned because you will be spotlighted. Feel free to keep your cameras on, but mute your microphones when not speaking. Use the raise hand gesture if you have a question related to our discussion. We have a time limit, so we'll keep the conversation balanced and focused. If you encounter any technical issues, drop me a personal message for any assistance. Buckle up because we're about to challenge the norms, spark conversations that will make your mind whirl and leave you with wonder. So without further ado, let's venture into our minds. It's time to say what and embark on this journey together. Shaurya Singh, I welcome you to the spotlight.
Thank you, Joe, and great to be here. Wonderful to see you all. Quite a few of you I already know, and the rest of you most welcome. Let's begin. Let's get right into it. Let's not waste any time. Yeah.
Yes. So our first question comes in from Shraddha Nagraj. Shraddha, I will be spotlighting you. The topic is spirituality, and the question is, how and why does manifestation have power? If it has power, then why have destiny? Shouldn't everything be achievable on free will?
Okay. Awesome. Is Shraddha here? Okay, doesn't matter. Let's get right into it and the juicy parts, right? So, manifestation. Yeah. Lots been said about it, lots been written about it, and it's kind of become this thing in the, the new age kind of spirituality that you see today that, you do certain things, there's certain rituals that you can perform, there's certain, things that you do, and then what you desire will manifest. And that's the premise. Yeah. And some of those things are based on certain ideas that people have had, certain ancient traditions as well. So a lot of this comes from this this ancient school of philosophy in India which you had. So there are 6 darshanas, one of them being Mimamsa. And within the Mimamsa darshana there is this idea that if you are to please a particular deity through a yajna, you will get what you're asking for. Yeah, so various yajnas were performed for various different things. In fact, the residue of that which we find that we even practice today is that you go and break a coconut in the temple and you get good marks in your exams. Right, so that's the residue of that. We don't even know where that's coming from, but that's pretty much where it is. Now, this idea, if we are to really examine and explore further, then a few questions and a very disturbing questions come up. Yeah, and the main question that becomes impossible to answer is that if there is a way through my pure intention to manifest something that I desire in my life, then why are children malnourished and hungry? Yeah, in the poorer regions of our own country, in places like Africa, you find young children, toddlers, suffering from famine, malnutrition, hunger. Could there be anything more pure than the intention of that hungry child who's asking for just a little bit of food? If there is something that's presiding over everything, yeah, some universe that's going to answer my desires, would that deity or entity not first answer this child who wants some food and lay out a beautiful buffet in front of that child rather than getting me my Ferrari? Yeah, there's something wrong there if that's happening. Then is that deity who's doing that really worth worshipping and going after? Because then that's a deity who doesn't really care. Yeah. Now, talking about this idea of manifestation, where does it stem from? What am I actually saying? I'm saying that my thoughts can impact the reality outside. Yeah, which is why you have this whole idea of negative thinking, positive thinking. So don't think negative, otherwise that will happen, right? But your thoughts have absolutely no power over reality. And to try this, okay, I'm not just making a claim. Take a strand of hair, which I don't have, but I'm sure you do. Take a strand of hair, place it on a white piece of paper, and use all the power of your thought, all the intention, all the, one pointed focus, whatever techniques you want to use, and move that strand of hair. Yeah, so this is a complete misunderstanding of the idea that as you start to move towards something, you gain momentum. Yeah. And those things that you move towards, where do they come from? Are they coming from, I saw an ad and now I want this particular phone. And so now, universe, please bring it to me. Yeah. And if that universe is bringing you that phone and not feeding the poor children, then I don't think this is a universe worth asking anything from. Yeah. So when we talk about free will, of course, that's a very, very big topic. Yeah, it's and a very complex topic, so that itself can become a long, long conversation. But generally speaking, free will can only exist when you're free from the past. Otherwise, there's some cause, right? Then it's not free will. Something caused it other than me. If I get up right now and go and get a glass of water, it's not me doing it out of free will. It's that thirst mechanism that I had to fulfill. I could not do any other way. There's no free will there. If I'm going and robbing, the bakery and bringing bread home, that's because the system has failed to provide that for me and my children. So there is a cause there. To be blamed for that action is like saying that I did it out of, there's absolutely no other, uh, you know, causes around. So where is free will in that sense? Yeah, free will can only exist once there is a freedom from the past, freedom from everything that has existed before this moment. Yeah, and in that sense, free will can only exist once all cause and effect has been broken. Yeah, without that, there is a cause for everything. There's nothing without cause. What is happening now is cause for something else. Yeah. As what Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, what we are to do is to establish ourselves so firmly in our own truth that every action we take from there becomes this pure action, which is not bound by what happened before. Yeah, and we'll explore these themes some more. Cool. Okay. Next question. Or if you have a follow up to that, we can take that on.
Yeah, if anyone has a follow-up to this question, please go ahead. Okay.
Cool.
So now we have 4 other questions again from Shraddha.
Okay.
I have combined these questions as they fall under the same topic, which is life and existence. The questions are: how do certain chemical reactions or fertilization of an egg in the womb create life? What leads to that creation and what leads to its perishment? Second question: is life of a soul a journey by itself? Third question: why is there dharma, artha, and kama present when the final goal is moksha? Why was this life even created? Could we not all could we not all been happily ever after living with God? And the fourth question is: when there are purusha artha, such as dharma, artha, and kama, why do people opt for sannyasa? Aren't they trying to skip steps and move on to the final aspect, wherein the others are living through all spectrums of life and trying to reach the final element of life? In that case, shouldn't we all opt for sannyas? Why go through all the struggles of life, relationships, money, etc.?
Is that it, or there's more?
Yes, that's it.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Good. Good. Okay. I'll try and cover all of it, but not possibly in that order. Let's look at what is sannyas first. Okay, because the moment you say that word, you imagine someone, who's bye bye, main to chala, I'm going off to the mountains or to the caves or to the ashram or whatever, right? That's the image that comes up. Someone, or you imagine yourself, oh my God, I have to give up everything. Yeah, how will I leave all this because I love it so much? It's painful, but I love it. Yeah. Sannyas, basically the word itself, is the complete dropping, the complete end to this cycle of desire. It has nothing to do with going anywhere. That picture that comes up in your mind has nothing to do with sannyas. In fact, that's quite the opposite. There, what you're saying is, this world and the things of the world have so much value that I need to stay away from them. There's something dangerous about them. There's something, they have power. Yeah, you've seen those people who say, I never touch money. I'm a sannyasi, don't touch money. Yeah. But that means money is so important, it's so powerful that you have to stay away from it. Yeah. Sannyas is the giving up of these narratives altogether. That money is not that powerful. It's a means of transaction. That's all it is. Yeah, what is money? Money is basically I've given you value, and it's like barter, right? So instead of giving me value back, it's a placeholder. You give me this. That's all it is. It's neither evil nor great nor any of those things. It's just a transactional value. That's all there is. But when I say, oh, I'm not going to touch this, what am I doing? Okay, firstly, I'm giving it so much power. And secondly, now I'm proving that I'm this great person, for having renounced it. And look at you guys, you can't renounce, right? So it's an ego trip. And if that's an ego trip, it doesn't get you closer to any spiritual goals. This very act of renunciation is an ego trip. That's all it is. Yeah, because now you can say, oh, see, I can do this, and you can't. Yeah, one more label I'll add on. See, sannyasi. Look at me. I'll wear different clothes. This is now me. So you respect me. Move out of my way when I walk. Yeah, this got nothing to do with the aim, the goal. And what is the goal? The goal is moksha. Sannyasa, neutral without opinions. Yeah, sannyasa is the complete dropping of all stories. It's got no opinion on anything. It's neither saying good nor bad. You're just looking at things as they are. And that, so now when we say, moksha and sannyas is the path to moksha, there again there's a mistake. Because sannyas and moksha are in a way synonymous. Moksha means what? Moh and kshaya. Moh is desire and kshaya is end of. Finishing of desires. End of desire. Now again, this sounds like very difficult. How do I end desire? Right? And Krishna explains this as well. So he says, as long as you're fighting them, you're not going to be able to do it. Sooner or later, they'll jump back up. You have to see clearly what that desire does to you. What impact does it have? The moment I desire happiness, yeah, I'm creating a void of happiness right here. Now there's no happiness here. It's somewhere else. I have to get to it. Yeah. So in my desire, I create disturbance. Whenever you desire anything, what you're saying is it's not there right now. Peace, love, bliss, whatever. And in that, I'm creating this, disturbance. Isn't being sannyasi itself a desire? Yes, not to desire to be free, right? Because again, that's a major trap that can keep you hooked for ages, because now there is a desire that I have to become something else that I'm not. This idea of the liberated being, the one who has attained moksha. Yeah. Now, just to come, to take a circle around everything. So, we're talking about the purusharthas, and the purusharthas are basically dharma, artha, kama, and moksha. Yeah. When we look deeper at what is dharma, dharma is this idea. So, dharma is not religion. Okay, that's a very small kind of interpretation of the word dharma. Dharma is a very vast. In fact, it can encapsulate everything that exists, because everything that exists is dharma. It is this getting in line with the flow of things is dharma. Yeah. Getting in line with your own truth, and from which you create what is good, bad, right, wrong for yourself. The values, what is important to me, you are creating that is dharma. Yeah. And if that is the thing that's holding everything together, yeah, then within that, artha and kama are both ways to transact with the world. How am I going to transact with the world? One is through exchange of value, artha, and the second is kama, through my senses. I'm looking at the flowers, I'm smelling the fragrance, I'm tasting a fruit. All that is part of kama. Yeah, the thing of uh, experiencing, if you go even deeper, myself through everything that exists. Yeah. So all these things are not separate things, and not like, first this, then this, then this. It's not even like that. It's in fact, all of it is together. So this idea of moksha, where it's not that I'm giving up desire, I'm giving up desire for an outcome. Yes, there is intention. Intention can be, again, going by, I don't know why, but today it's Bhagavad Gita. So Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna says that even if I get all these things, right? Like if I get the palace, if I get the kingdom, if I get everything, it doesn't mean anything to me. That's not a worthy cause for me to fight. Yeah. So Krishna replies, that's not what you're fighting for at all. You're fighting for your values. How is it that a woman was disrespected in your court? That's what you're fighting for. You're taking a stand. Yeah. So those, yes, those are the values that guide you towards something. But as long as now there is this desire of the outcome, yeah, that kills the joy of the doing of anything. Yeah, it's uh, when they say you study but don't desire to come first, okay, and the child is wondering how is that possible? Why am I studying only then? Right? But as long as it's coming out of this desire of the outcome, what I'm doing right now is in this cloud of disturbance, because there is this anxiety. Is it going to happen? Is it not going to happen? Yeah, will I make it? Will I not make it? Yeah. Whereas once you shift this focus to the action itself, this process of learning, can that be in itself the outcome? Yeah, the same thing which is commonly said, right? The journey, not the destination. Can the journey itself be so beautiful that whether I reach there or not doesn't even matter? Yeah, akin to playing a song, right? You don't play a song to reach the last note. You play the song to enjoy the song. So can not everything be in that way? Why is it got to be that only if this happens, then I'm successful or then I have achieved something? No, it's when you shift that focus. Today in your motivational speakers also speak about this, processes versus outcomes. So if you have your processes really strong, outcomes will occur. If you're only focused on outcomes, you waste so much mental energy that you don't have time, you're imagining that whole thing. Oh, it's going to be like this, I'll win the Oscars, everyone will clap, what speech should I give, will it be liked or not? In that, mental energy goes away, and then you don't have mental energy for the action that you need to take. Yeah. Then what is the other things? Okay, about this place, arriving at this place, or why is it not that we are already with God, living happily, right? So here, the moment we cause this distinction between God and me, Brahma and me, okay, or Paramatma and Atma, yeah, when we cause this distinction, that's where the trap is, the illusion. The illusion is that I'm separate, and this point of moksha, this point of sannyas, where everything is dropped, yeah, is the realization that there was nothing to be achieved in the first place. I am already that. That's what the Vedanta says. Yeah, so it's not about staying with God, but being that. Yeah, that is the ultimate aim. Now, to turn the whole thing around, although it's the ultimate aim, it is fundamental already. That point of moksha is not something far away or you have to achieve, or there's some mountain you have to climb, or some cave you have to sit in for 40 years. Yeah, there's no method, there's no technology, there's nothing, no path, because you're already there. Yeah. So now is the play of artha and karma and dharma to get you to arrive at this point, for that maturity to occur. So you're playing within transactional reality to gain the maturity enough to get to this place of questioning everything, of arriving at your own truth. In our modern day society, however, we've made it so, it's non-stop entertainment, right? There's not a moment that you can, that you will need to take a break and look at what's going on, look at yourself deeply. Because there's so much entertainment, your entire life you can spend just watching movies on Netflix and never have to watch a movie twice. Back to back, you can. Yeah, that's what we've done. And we are creating ever more engaging ways to keep us trapped in our stories. Okay. Finally, I'll just touch upon that. I have no this thing on biology. That's not. I'm not a subject matter expert in that field at all. But to say that life is created at the point of X, Y, Z, no. Life is primary, and life, if you're referring to just moving organisms, I'm talking about life as in this consciousness that is aware of all these concepts, all these things, everything that's going on, the witness of that. Pure consciousness is primary, is fundamental. Within consciousness, the universe exists, day and night exists, life and death exists, all that exists. It's like the screen on which the movie plays out. The screen is fundamental. You might not see it because you're stuck with the story of what's going on the screen. And you're asking, when did this movie begin? When will it end? When was that character born? When will they die? But the screen is there throughout. And that screen is primary, is fundamental, is already there. Within that, everything else plays out. Yeah. Then the journey of, or the journey of the soul, right? So this, what we again, this is a, when we say atma or soul, we're the image that comes up is the person lying dead and like translucent thing coming out of them like smoke or something. Yeah. Now here in this physical form, I have isolated myself. I've created this separate entity for myself. Yeah, that's a functioning of the mind, this to create a separate entity, that this is me, this person here. Yeah. Now when I talk about soul, which I'm saying is eternal, infinite, all those things, how is that soul local to me? Because then again it's something separate and individual. Right? So if there is the atma's realization that it is Paramatma, that it is everything that exists, that it is the very same atma that is within you, is within me, that is Atma Gnan. That is the realization. It's not your atma is different than mine, it's the same. The same witness is witnessing what's going on there, the same witness is witnessing what's going on here. Yeah. And although it goes through all this, it is untouched by any of it. Whether there's a violent movie playing on the screen or a comedy movie playing on the screen is exactly the same. It's untouched. Yeah. So it's through this realization and then act in the world. Again, Krishna says, Sthita Prajna. Arrive at that point where you're firmly established in the truth. And through that, act in the world. Automatically your actions will be aligned with dharma. You don't have to make calculations, good, bad, right, wrong, balance sheets. Yeah. Automatically you'll be actually able to experience the world through your senses. Right now what's happening, we are functioning through the duality of attachment and aversion. Whenever we experience something through our senses, immediately we are labeling it pleasurable or displeasurable. Yeah, so there's either attachment, I want more of this sensation, or there's aversion, I don't want this sensation. Yeah, and that is entanglement, that is karma, you get caught up in that. Yeah, when you're functioning without this filter of aversion or attachment is when you can truly enjoy the world through your senses. And again, so when you say you truly enjoy, it is that which is enjoying itself through this mechanism, through this process. Okay, cool. Any follow up, anything on that? Anything more you want to ask? Anybody else also on this particular topic? Anything that might have come up? Anything you want to say?
Hi, Shaurya. Yeah. So you were mentioning about clearing the past, right? I mean, how do you do that?
Yes. So, talking about clearing of the past. So, yes, in a certain way, it is required to start to disentangle. Okay. When I say disentangle, there is a lot of emotional anchors that are stuck in our own past, which until they are there, they define who I am. Yeah. For most of us, who we are is a function of the past. Everything that's happened to me until this moment, that's who I am.
You're talking about in this birth or in the past?
First, this birth.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if we can handle this one, it's a big thing. uh, Whatever's happened to me until now, I'm a product of that. I'm a function of whatever my past experiences, right? And it's not just that I can, shift. I can say, no, I'll be this way,
Mm.
right? The strongly placed anchors are there. So there is a requirement of disentanglement from those anchors. But ultimately, it is very important to know that this disentanglement should lead to a complete breakdown of the story. The
So,
story of me.
so that was my question. So how do you disentangle?
Uh, okay, it's a long, again, very long conversation. And if you're interested, there are workshops that we conduct where we really go into it deep, right? So, uh,
I'll make my question pretty simple then.
yes,
Say for example, I've had a childhood issue where
yes.
something happened to me, XYZ. Now, how can I disentangle from that? The consequences of what happened by that event has, say for example, had some traumas in me.
Yes.
Is that called
Sure.
entanglement?
Yes, sure.
Disentangle from that. Is that a workshop
Yes,
thing, or is it
yes,
like
yes.
a
I can give you in a brief, but it's something that you need to do. So it's something that we can do together. Yeah. But I'll give you the gist of it. Yeah. The gist of it is very simply that what happened then is having a control on my life right now. Yeah,
Mm,
not at a conscious level, at an unconscious level, it's dictating my actions, the way I interact with the world, the way I see the world, the way I forge relationships. Everything is being dictated by those events which have happened.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, when I want to disentangle from it, the first thing that I need to do is recognize that this, how I recall what happened, is my story.
Mm, mm,
Yeah.
okay.
When I'm living, I see my past as reality. But as I start to explore, I'll start to look at this part, that the way I see how this happened is based on several factors. Right? Very simple example I'll give you. Let's say you're walking down the road and you see a man hit a young boy, slapped him across the face.
Mm,
Yeah. Now, from the child's perspective, this is a story of humiliation, that I got humiliated by my father in front of everybody
mm,
outside in the public. Yeah. For the father, it's a story of discipline. Yeah, that if I don't teach discipline to my son right now, he's going to grow up and become a horrible human being or whatever, right? So he has that justification for that action. Now you watching this have a third perspective. You don't have a direct connection, so you're seeing this and saying, should I call the cops for child abuse, right? So that's something you're seeing there. So everything that's happened in our lives also has been seen through a certain perspective.
Okay.
So, if you're talking about disentanglement, the first is to start to recognize what stories have I created about the events that happened in my past. Yeah.
Mm.
Again, another example would be that if I got, bullied in school.
Mm.
Yeah. And right now, the behavior that brings into my current state is that I boss around people who are lower than me, lower status than me.
Mm.
I'm very rude to them. I'm basically an asshole to them. Yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Now, if I have to disentangle from this story, I must also realize that then I will not have justification for my current behaviors.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, so that disentanglement has to happen at this entirety level. You have to see the entire thing fully. What's really going on there?
Okay.
Yeah. What I can tell you is that what will not bring about disentanglement is ignoring it or saying, time will heal all wounds. No.
It only intensifies, and the pattern keeps playing.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely, Sukesh. Bang on. In fact, every relationship, every interaction is bound in these patterns, which is the cycle of karma that we are talking about.
So, Chief, coming back to my question, I'm sorry, slightly doubtful whether I should be asking this or not. In the last couple of days, after this meditation, whatever sessions I could attend, I've been trying to attend it as much as possible.
Sure.
So, these couple of traumatic experiences for me that has happened during my childhood, I was with the question why it had happened to me.
Sure.
And uh, of late, I'm getting to understand it's because of my um, um, things from my past birth that I've carried. And that started opening up. Now, is it weird or is it common, normal? I don't know. I mean,
Right. So, if you're asking me about past births, there is a certain, uh, doubt that arises.
mm,
Yeah. And that doubt is very simply this, that if I'm being punished for something that I don't even know, what good
mm,
is that punishment?
mm,
Why would such a entity or a system or a divine function in this way? Why am I being punished for something that I don't know? I might be doing it right now. I don't even know. I
mm,
might be doing it again right now. I don't know.
mm,
Yeah. Or reward me for, again, for something that I don't know. And then the
mm,
question, if I'm to take it to even more of an extreme, is that why would such an entity give babies cancer? What lesson is being taught there? Yeah.
so are we talking about past life karmas or?
I'm talking about past life as a concept itself
Okay.
is there to keep people in control.
Mm,
Okay, so like if I tell you that I'm really poor, and we saw those the migrant workers during the COVID going back, yeah, to their
mm,
homes.
mm,
Now, unless I can explain to them that it's because of their own bad deeds, is that's why they're facing such a fate, they can turn around and loot my home.
mm,
Yeah, what will stop them from doing that? Yeah, so it's a very convenient way to justify the sorrow that we experience in life. But if we are to dig a little deeper, yeah, everybody is in pain.
mm, right.
Yeah, whether they are rich, they are poor, they are whatever, in America, in India, in any country. And Buddha says this the best, right? So Buddha, the first line itself is life is suffering.
Mm.
And thousands of years since, no one has been able to say no, it's not.
Right, I agree.
Yeah. So then why is suffering? Why is there suffering? That becomes the next question. Now, this idea of, even I'll, take it to a little funny, this thing. We have these ideas of ghosts, right? So a ghost is coming
Mm.
to take vengeance for the bad
Mm.
things that happen to them. Yeah. Now look at the mechanism that's operating. Okay. So all my memories are stored in my brain, in the physical brain,
Mm.
right? If you were to hit me really hard on my head, it is a good chance that I'll forget everything. I'll ask मैं कौन हूँ, मैं कहाँ हूँ, that will happen. Yeah. So at the point of death, the brain is shutting down. So no memory is getting carried forward.
Okay.
Yeah. So now how does this ghost know whom to take vengeance from and for what? Because it doesn't have, the hard drive is shut. It
So
doesn't
there
have
is
access.
past life things like that, right?
Yeah.
So there is nothing called as a past life memory and things like that.
No, I'm saying whether there is or isn't, it doesn't make any difference to what you're going through right now.
Okay.
Again, this will take it back to Gautam Buddha. Gautam Buddha says if an arrow was to come and pierce you suddenly when you were walking down the forest pathway,
Mm.
yeah, will you be more interested in who shot and why did they shoot and what did they do before that, etc., or getting rid of this, getting rid
Getting
of
rid.
the pain? Yeah,
Mm.
and that then becomes the primary question, because we can go on debating past life exists, doesn't exist, uh,
Got it. I got my
and
question.
yeah, but if I'm using that to justify and
Mm.
using that to kind of, I'm suffering, but now I have a reason for my suffering. No, look at suffering as it is. Why is there suffering now?
Okay.
Yeah, because that takes the control back in your own hands. Until the time I am, something else is impacting my happiness or my sadness, till
Mm.
then I cannot truly be happy. I cannot reclaim the happiness that I have been given. My true nature is bliss.
Right.
Yeah. How do I reclaim that if I think that something else has the power to take my bliss away?
Mm. Got it.
Awesome, Sukesh.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sukesh. Thank you, Shraddha, for those questions. Wow. So we have two more questions. They just came in. They're anonymous. The first question is, how can we love when the other hurts us?
Anonymous.
Yes.
Okay. Fine. Anonymous. The thing is that all you can do is love. Yeah. And yes, the other will hurt. What is the hurt? Is expecting love back. That's what the hurt is, right? That which I'm giving, I should get back as well. And if I'm loving from that state, then it's not love at all. Yeah. When I'm saying love, okay, again, if you take it to now a little bit of Sufism, that's your true nature, to be in love. That feeling of uncertainty, that feeling of amazement, that feeling of everything is wow, that's your true nature. Yeah. We've slowly shut ourselves down because we've got hurt so many times. Yeah, and from behind our walls, we're saying, okay, I love you. All you can do is love. You cannot do anything else. You cannot be anything else. The moment you're building these walls, you're shutting off your access to your own truth. It's only in that state of complete vulnerability is the experience of living, is the experience of life. Otherwise, it's like someone, sitting somewhere else and saying, oh, they should play it like this, essay, like a commentator on life. Yeah, if you're playing the game of life, you're there, you're loving, you're living, you're giving. Yeah, but how it functions for most of us is that there is a void here, some void exists. Yeah, and now I want somebody else to fill that void. And in that transaction, what am I really calling love is, as long as you do these things for me, I love you. Yeah, the moment even one of those things is off the list, I don't love you anymore. You didn't make coffee for me, go. Get out. Yeah, so in that sense, you're only loving yourself. That's not love at all. Yeah, if you do these things. Yeah, I want somebody else to fill my void. And that's never going to happen. Primarily because the other person also wants you to fill their void. Ultimately, all we do for each other is easily take each other into the places that we love to go the most. What are those places? You know them very well. Sadness, isolation, depression. Oh, everything is against me. You know this. You love to go back there, and the other just helps you go there. Okay, so don't tell me it's hurt. You really like that. Yeah, these are the roles we play out for each other. I'll help you get to your special place. You help me get to mine. Yeah, there's no love there. We've defined love in a very warped way as it's that 3 month period when you're running around the trees and singing songs, after which everything goes away. Yeah, no, that's nothing to do with love.
So we have
Yes,
a follow-up here.
sure.
It's by Sukesh. Isn't
Yes.
our true nature to be loved than to love? We even cuddle a child to see that smile on their face.
Uh, to be loved is not a need at all. In fact, the very act of love is an overflowing. Is there's so much to give. To be loved is a validation from outside, which is what we've been through our isolation from our own true self. We want something else to fulfill that. Yeah, I want somebody to love me. I want someone to respect me. All that, all that, all that. But the moment again my state is dependent on you, then again I've totally killed it. I'm not alive anymore. I'm dependent on you loving me, not loving me. Is the puppy licking my face or not? Is the child smiling or not? Then it becomes dependent on something external. And there again there's that, it's a mistake, it's a misunderstanding. Because if there is happiness, it's fully here for me, right here, right now, completely, without condition, without qualification. Yes,
Yes, we have another follow-up.
sure.
Uh, what is love?
Like I was saying, so there's no way to really define love, but since we have defined it so much, we need to reframe those definitions. Okay, one of the definitions that we've made of love is this, oh, this wonderful feeling in my tummy. Okay. And no, that's got nothing to do with love. The butterflies in my stomach. Because that's the exact same thing you feel when you're nervous. That's the exact same thing when you feel when you're anxious. That time you don't say, I'm in love. Yeah. All these emotions that we label, right? And that's what we do. Okay, this is sadness, this is happiness, this is, those are not of any value, because all you're doing is again creating either aversion or attachment. I want to be in love and I don't want to hate people, but you hate people. Yeah. And now you have to build one more mechanism. Oh, I'm such a bad person for hating people. Why can't I be that compassionate, all loving, all kind? And so one more conflict within. Yeah. It's like you're very stressed out, and then you take on a meditation practice. Oh, I have to get relaxed also now, on top of all this shit that's going on. One more headache. Yes, of already is going on. Is Cupid now have to be peaceful also. Yeah. So when we speak of love, it's, if it's put into these kind of definitions, that a particular, emotion, or a particular physiological state, or a particular, in a movie it happened this way, it should happen like that. Yeah. Then we kill love, because love cannot be confined into definition. Yeah. Love is what is your original true state. Yeah. But at least for our relationships, how we can reframe love is the complete and total acceptance of the other. Can you give the people in your life the freedom to be? This is the greatest favor you can do. Oh, why are you sad? Don't be sad. No, let them be. Let people be. Accept them as they are, completely and totally. That is love. Okay, good. Next.
So, yes, we have another question from Swati. Even after knowing the consequences of being afraid and the limitations that come along with it, why does the brain go into the zone of fear and how do we overcome it?
Okay, good. So the brain, through evolution, yeah, has this mechanism of projecting the worst case scenario, right? So it's not uncertainty that you're afraid of, you're certain it's going to be horrible. That's what the brain is projecting. And this is a good thing, it's not a bad thing, because we are the survivors and the progeny of people who were paranoid, right? Back in the caveman times, if you're this smart ass who walks around everywhere, nothing's going to happen to me, good chance you'll get killed. Yeah, but if you're this overcautious person, oh, there might be a snake there, there might be a tiger there, yeah, better chance of you surviving. Yeah, so that's the lineage we come from the ones who were the most paranoid. Yeah. So it's something that we've inherited. So the brain projects the worst case scenario that's going to happen. It's like the most horrible thing. You'll explode. Yeah, don't go up and give that presentation. You're going to explode in front of everyone. And that'll be the most embarrassing thing. Yeah, all your guts lying all over the floor. Chi. Yeah. Now, firstly, the recognition of this. This is what's happening. Yeah, so recognize and say thank you. Thank you for, protecting me from exploding in front of people. Yeah. And then to really take this deeper, because that which you fear is where there is a possibility of a huge breakthrough. So everything that you fear, those are pointers. Okay, this is what I need to do. Live that on the edge, right? I don't know what's going to happen. And that's life is occurring at the edge, not in the, in the stands. On the field, where yes, I don't know what's going to happen, but that's what makes it exciting. Okay, awesome. Good.
Thank you, Shaurya.
Cool, Baba. Okay.
Yes. So, Shaurya, we have a couple more anonymous questions, but we also have a submission. So you tell me what's the one you'd like to answer first.
Well, let's go with all this. We have time.
Okay. Okay. So now we have another anonymous question. What is suffering and why do we suffer?
Okay, good. So, suffering can be firstly the physical suffering. Okay, so physical suffering is that if you hung me on the cross, there's physical suffering happening. Yeah, or if you get a tummy upset, how it feels. That's all. We're not really talking about that here. Yeah, because the body has to go through whatever it has to go through, and that's how we organisms live out their lives. Yeah, we are talking about psychological suffering. Yeah, psychological suffering is what? Is this what's going to happen? Or, oh, all that happened. Yeah, and we are completely bogged down by this. In fact, all our energy is moving towards preventing all this bad stuff from happening. Yeah, I tell this story often, but I'll say it again. Mullah Nasruddin was throwing breadcrumbs all around his hut. Yeah, so a passerby comes up and says, "Hey Mullah, what are you doing?" So the Mullah answers, "These breadcrumbs keep tigers away." So the passerby says, "What are you saying? In our country, we don't have tigers." So Mullah says, "See, it works." Yeah, and that's what we are doing. All our life, we are just going around throwing breadcrumbs here and there, thinking that we are preventing some bad thing from happening. All the practices, all the whatever. Where is suffering? Suffering can only exist if you create the future or if you recall the past. In this moment, there is no psychological suffering. If you want to feel pain and all that, you'll have to tell yourself a story. Don't you do that? You tell yourself a nice story. Oh, it's so bad. They did this to me. They did that to me. Oh, all this is going to happen. I'm going to end up on the streets. You have to say it to yourself in order to feel it. You have to tell yourself that story. And you've told it so many times that now you don't even know you're doing it. Without that storytelling that goes on in your head, there is no suffering. Where is suffering in this moment? In this moment, imagine for a second that there is no past and there is no future. Only this moment exists. I'm saying imagine but that's what it is. But even then, imagine that there is no past and there is no future. Where is suffering? Yeah. And that's the end of suffering, not something that you have to get to. Oh, I have to purify myself, have 10 showers a day, then I'll reach end of suffering. Okay, good.
Okay. Now we have another question back to the topic of love. Should love between parent children and love between couples be different? Or even love for an animal or love for a human being, should it be different?
Okay, cool. Love के पीछे पड़ गए हाँ ठीक है. Okay. I'll say something that might be a little bit weird, but try this. Forget about love. Be present. Parents, be present with your children. Children, be present with your parents. Pets, be present there already. Pet owners, be present with your pets. Be completely there. Without this whole evaluation, am I loving? Am I being loved? Am I giving the right kind of love? Is this, am I spoiling? Am I, all that. Is this the right way of parenting? There's no right way of parenting. The only thing you can do is be present. Be fully present to what's going on. Without agendas, without judgments, without expectations. Because if you look at it, the parent child is basically a template that we've been handed down, right? So this is what a good dad is, this is what a good mom is, this is what a good son is, this is what a good daughter is. That entire structure has been given to you. And now you have to fit into that. Okay, am I good or not? And you have to measure, did I get there or not? Yeah. But within that template, there is actually no chance of a true relationship occurring, because it's always through the filters of these roles. I cannot even see the other as a human being. I can only see them in their role. Relationship, true relationship, can only occur outside these templates. Within these templates, every parent is, oh, I'm so disappointed in my child. Every child is like, oh, there should have been more coming from you. I feel, I was owed so much and you didn't fulfill. This is only disappointment there. And then you're disappointed in yourself that I couldn't live up to their expectations. So there's just burden. The burden of expectations, burden of guilt. There's everything that they, when parents tell you to do something, it's not out of, there's not taking a stick and hitting, or maybe they are also, but it's more out of a sense of guilt, right? If you do this, then I'll feel happy. And that's it. So conditioning is not happening with a stick, conditioning is happening through guilt. And within these relationships, which are, this is the template, you can't do anything else. Within that template, there is no possibility of a real relationship occurring. And same with, what is the other one? The couple, right? When you're playing out the couple, you're playing out predefined templates. You're not playing out anything real there. from the scenes to the lines to the what's going to happen next, everything is already given. Like I always say, there's a song for every situation. So there's nothing unique that you're doing, and as long as you're living within those structures of templates, nothing real is possible. Yeah, no matter how many 10 ways to be happy with your partner you read in a psychology book. Yeah, nothing works. Because those further strengthen the templates and the stories. Okay, good.
Okay, so our next question comes in from Shanti. Shanti, I'll be spotlighting you. The topic is life and existence. And the question is, I love this question. If non-duality is the natural state of being, how did duality come to be the natural way of existence as it is today?
Okay, good. Awesome. So firstly, let's acknowledge that we live in a world of duality, because we can't deny it, right? For us, it's very clear that there is right and wrong, there's good and bad, there is success and failure, there is happiness and sadness, all these things, right? So the opposites of things exist, hot and cold, etc. Yeah. Now add, forget about going into any philosophy. At this level itself, at that transactional level, does duality really exist? When I say hot and cold, yeah, is there something universally hot and universally cold, or is it relative to the way I'm perceiving it? The question is, am I imposing measurement onto reality? Yeah, let's really look at it. Okay, so if I was to say that there is a stick and that stick is 2 feet long, yeah, that 2 feet is a measurement I am imposing onto that stick. It's not an inherent value of the stick. Yeah, and now I can say that is the stick hot or cold, but that will also be a measurement I am imposing onto the stick. The stick is neither hot nor cold. It is just at the temperature it should be at. Yeah, I have been told that something is hot and something is cold, so I'm imposing. Yes, that's what language has done. So the moment you learn language, you have to impose these measurements. You're saying this is night and that's day, but that's something you're imposing onto what is. In reality, there is neither night nor day. Yeah. Then success, failure. Again, that's through a social construct that we're imposing something on what is success and what is not success. Good and bad is moral constructs that we're imposing onto reality. So, at this very transactional level, without going into philosophy or any such thing, there is no duality except the measurements you're imposing onto reality.
I have a follow-up on this
Sure.
one.
Yes.
So, this is something that I think we inherently, like inside us, we know. But we choose to look at something in a certain way. For whatever reasons, we have our own reasons to do that. And I think that's very individualistic sometimes. But knowing that this is suffering, why is it so difficult? Like, how did we even come to accept this way of living? And why do we continue this? I mean, there's enough of information and enough of ways in which we can shift, but it doesn't.
Okay. Okay.
And I don't know, I'm just opening a discussion.
Sure. Yeah. Beautiful. So yeah, the reason why there is suffering is because you're seeking a solution to suffering. Otherwise, there is no suffering. And as long as you're seeking this solution to suffering, you are suffering. And so that it's a perpetual loop that you're stuck in. There is no solution because there isn't suffering in the first place. In this moment, there is no suffering. For suffering to exist, you have to project the future or recall the past, both of which are only in your head, nowhere else. It's not real. Mental mechanisms, that's all. Otherwise, in this moment, there is no suffering. Now, when we invent that there is going to be a cure for this, there's going to be a solution to this problem. Life is not a problem at all that there is some solution that we have to find. But the moment we do that, all the shops will open up. Okay, yeah, see, I have the solution, come. And then you keep, yeah, oh, I'm getting there, slowly I'm getting there. Huh? By next week, I think, yeah. And levels, no, I've reached black, yellow belt right now. Someday I'll get to black belt. Keep trying. So you're fighting a phantom, there's nothing there. Right now, just as you are, complete and whole, there's absolutely nothing that has to be done. The mind keeps this going because that's what keeps its value in place. The mind has no value otherwise. In this moment, if there's nothing to solve, the mind has no values. It'll just keep quiet. The mind says, no, I'll get you there. I'll get you there. Now, maybe that meditation technique, that's not yet learned. That will definitely. Vignan Bhairava, 112 techniques are there. That will definitely work. It's worked for so many, why it'll not work for me?
After all, our ancestors were paranoid, so. Thank you.
Okay, I'll come back to the original thing, okay? So, the apparent experience of duality is this projection that the mind is making onto reality. In reality, there is no distinction, there is no separation. Everything is this continuous flow. Yeah, but the greatest duality that we are all stuck in is me and existence. There is this me which is separate from existence. There are two things here. There's Atma and there's Paramatma. Me and existence. Yeah. There again, the same logic will apply, because until there is this language to qualify me as something separate from everything else, that's not there. Yeah, you can't remove me from existence and keep me somewhere else. I cannot exist as an independent entity apart from existence. Yeah. The breaking of this illusion. So they say, no, Maya, illusion, everything is illusion. No, everything is not illusion. You are that illusion. The illusion is that there is this person here. separate from everything that exists. The moment this person is invented, this person is isolated, is depressed, is sad, is anxious, is fearful. Because it's like suddenly a drop out of the ocean. It doesn't know what's going on. Like, yeah. But that's the illusion, that there isn't any such entity which is separate from existence. That is not part of that flow which is occurring. Yeah, okay. Awesome. Cool, thank you. Is that it?
Thank you, Shanti. Yes, that was our last question for today. This was interesting to end on a good note. I
Good note.
acknowledge, very good note. I acknowledge all of us here for participating in this insightful conversation. Our participation conveys our conviction to lead a better and a profound life. Yes. Thank you, Shaurya, for your lively conversation, for this, and for everything, for all of this. Say What is the space for us to think critically about spirituality, existence, our careers, and our relationships. Let us keep this conversation alive and expand our understanding of what life truly entails. If you want to be a part of this conversation, send in your questions to us, to me. We leave no stone unturned when it comes to finding deeper truths. So ask away. Mark your Thursdays on the calendar because we have a lot more topics coming up. More updates will be put on Instagram. See you all next week. This is Johanna Shendre signing off. Until next time, take care and bye-bye.